Zenith's turn to ban.
Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to the semifinals of the AMD Dota 2 Premier League. Looks like players having one or two connection issues, so hopefully we'll be able to get that resolved. I'm Baseskip, I'm here in association with Dota Talk, and it is again a pleasure to be casting for you guys this evening. Thank you to the couple of people who sent me some feedback. I have actually read those emails already. Very kind words. I'll make sure that right after the stream, I will respond to those emails, and I do my best to respond to everything that comes into my inbox. So, for anybody who's wondering if I am actually reading it, if I am actually getting those messages, then I am, and thank you very much. And you guys, I guess, know who you are. But we're back. It's Zenith versus Vici Gaming, and Zenith aren't okay. So you guys can't see the bubbles right now, but when you do see the bubbles, it says that Zenith are 1-0, Zenith aren't 1-0. Vici Gaming are currently leading 1-0. So it looks like things got a little bit messed around when we swapped sides for the team. So just keep that in mind, and anybody who asks a question in chat, obviously keep them up to date as far as the overall score is concerned. But Zenith, they go for a very aggressive strategy in game one with some of their more off-the-wall picks. Doesn't really end up working out. They don't get enough kills. Vici Gaming, they farm it out. They've got the jungler. Zenith don't. They maintain the experience lead for pretty much the entire game and just end up winning the game. When I say Dragon Knight gonna Dragon Knight, what I mean is that even if he gets pressured in the lane on mid and it's a Queen of Pain, one of the strongest laners in the game, he just bottle crows, he spams, he gets treads, he gets a bracer, he pushes a tower, he keeps on farming, he gets his BKB. He's very difficult to just keep locked down. He's a very, very stable, very consistent hero. So when I say Dragon Knight gonna Dragon Knight, that's kind of what I mean. It's very difficult to stop him just doing exactly what he does in a game. And he's not even that farm dependent. I mean, a BKB, some levels, has a Dragon Tail, has a Breathe Fire. That's all he needs for the early game. And that kit is enough to just springboard him into the late game. So Vici Gaming will again be picking up the Dragon Knight here. We've got Zenith banning out a Nyx Assassin and a Bat Rider. OD and Alchemist removed for VG. And Zenith, what's it going to be? It's going to be a Wisp pickup so far. I'm just playing it a little bit more safe. Going to choose to pick up a Darkseer. So Vici probably looking towards maybe Jakiro and Gyrocopter as bans. There is still a Visage in the pool. Zenith, again, they showed last game that they're not necessarily too worried about not having the obvious Wisp pairing, though you can count Lifestealer as a partner hero for Wisp. So Vici, maybe they ban Gyro Chaos Knight or something like that. It depends on how worried they are about the Wisp, and that all comes down to how quickly they feel like they can get a kind of 5-man lineup up and running. So we're going to have Chen as the ban for Zenith. Vici Gaming, the last couple of days, ZSMJ's been playing lots of jungle heroes. He played a little bit of tri-lane support in the tri-lane versus tri-lane, but for the most part, Vici Gaming have been avoiding it. And I mean, if you make a roster substitution like that, yes, ZSMJ was previously in the tri-lane, but it's a different spot to be in. And coordination with Fenrir may not be top-notch as far as the tri-lane versus tri-lane is concerned. And against a team like Zenith, you kind of need it for try v try. So I feel like Vici are still going to be trying to avoid, just going to try and avoid the tri-lane versus tri-lane as much as they possibly can, just like they did in game one. They, the Weavers sat back very defensively, played it safe, but they got the farm of the Nature's Prophet, and from there they moved forward. So that's a bit of a trend that I've picked up as far as their last couple of days have been concerned. And again, they've been shifting things around quite a bit, with FY being on the carry, now he's in the 3 position, but seems to be doing quite well as the 3, so great all-around player. And we are going to have Razor as the ban for Vici, so it looks like they've been doing their homework at least a little bit as far as Zenith's strategies are concerned. I mean, a lot of teams have been picking it up as a counter to OD on mid. Zenith has been picking it up because they just like the hero, and it catches other teams off, and when they pick a Lifestealer, then it's a great response as well, and not too shabby against things like Dragon Knight either. So Vici, what are they going to go for here? What's still in the pool? All of those combo heroes with the Darkseer, interestingly enough, do end up making it through for Zenith. So if they want to play a very safe kind of vanilla lineup, they can go for the Gyrocopter, they can go for the Jakiro, they can look to secure maybe the Queen of Pain again for mid, Puck potentially as well, and rounding up the lineup with Puck, Gyrocopter, Jakiro. I mean, the Wisp doesn't necessarily fit into those plans, but it's still a very kind of safe lineup. And as far as playing safe is concerned, what are the stakes for this game? So Vici are currently leading 1-0. If Zenith lose it, they're down to the 3rd, 4th place decider to play against Rattlesnake, and the best that they can hope for in the competition is 3rd. The winner of this is going to be advancing to play against Orange, who have already won their best of 3 semifinal earlier in the night. But Weaver is going to be taken one more time by Vici Gaming. The bug slipping his way through into the pool. And Zenith, what's the response going to be? Are they going to take the Wisp partner? Are they going to grab the Chaos Knight? Are they going to grab maybe a Phantom Assassin?
10 seconds remaining.
Or are they just going to change tack and again just have the Wisp as just, okay, Wisp is relocate, Wisp is global presence. He doesn't need to necessarily have a super nuky combo hero with him every single time. And yeah, so Zenith are just going to be picking up the Gyrocopter here.
Dire team pick.
So, yes. I glanced at chat for a second and I was like, why isn't chat moving? Oh, we're still in sub mode for giveaways. So I guess the floodgates will open kind of soon. Vici Gaming going to get the partner for the Shadow Demon here in the Luna. So they've got a good roaming combo right now. If they want to, they can try and run an aggressive tri-lane, but I feel like Vici, I mean, if it doesn't get banned, then they might just still pick up the Nature's Prophet as their last hero, farm the Weaver, farm the Prophet, roam the supports, and just do kind of exactly what they did last game. Meanwhile, Zenith, they've got the late game threat of the Gyrocopter, which will help keep Vici on their toes. Last game, Zenith didn't really have much as far as the late game was concerned. Lifestealer was nice, but he was always going to be kited around by Windrunner with the Force Staff and Dragon-tailed and all that kind of thing. So having the Lifestealer as the sole hard carry in that last game was not going to be, wasn't going to have them, wasn't going to have them secure for the late game. But Zenith this time around, they've got the Gyrocopter. They might diversify their threats a little bit more with the semi-carry, perhaps on mid as well, or they could even, again, go for somebody a little bit semi-carry-ish in the Tuskar. So it looks like Zenith sticking to their guns as far as this Tusk Wisp strategy is concerned. And I think Tusk is going to be the secondary support. Vacuum into Ice Shards, into Call Down, into Flak Cannon. Could be a very devastating combo. A couple of Ion Shells dotted in there, some Wisp Spirits. But no, Vici Gaming, they're gonna... Well, they pick up the Juggernaut. It could be an aggressive tri-lane, Shadow Demon, Luna, Juggernaut. It could just be an off-lane Jug. But they've got the Tri-Core lineup, so they've got themselves in a reasonable late game. They've got a great pushing strat between the Dragon Knight and the Jug. And the Jug, another one of those heroes that's just sort of lurking on the edge of the metagame all the time. He had a really prominent period when he was buddying up with Lone Druid, but he's always there, and the Healing Ward is always a threat. So Zenith, let's see what they can find in response. They've got reasonable counter push. They've got Darkseer, they've got Gyrocopter, they've got Tusk. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem for them, but do they have a response to the Tri-Core lineup? They've only got a mid pickup left, so either they need to just say, okay, we'll just team fight them when they push, and we'll pick up something like Puck, or we'll pick up a Queen of Pain, and Gyrocopter will be our carry, and the Frozen Sigil will be our plan for a little bit of anti-carry, which actually works out fantastically against the heroes that Vici Gaming have. So don't count out the Frozen Sigil's impact in the later stages of the game, but Zenith, how badly do they want inevitability here? I mean, they can't really make their lineup Tri-Core as far as, 3 big farmers, 3 big late gamers, because they've already got the Darkseer. The Darkseer Wombo combo will stay relevant throughout the whole game, but it's a pretty big decision now for Zenith as to what they take. They could even run the Gyrocopter on mid and try and up the ante even more and maybe pick up something like Spectre to safe lane farm. So then they would have 2 huge late gamers that would have a really good shot, but I think Vici Gaming, the threat of an aggressive tri-lane will probably deter any kind of pick like that. So Zenith just deliberating as far as what this last pick is going to be. And only 10 seconds reserve time left, so we're all going to find out pretty soon. And it is just going to end up being Puck. So Zenith have big AoE team fight, but Gyrocopter is their only true late gamer, and that means that they can't afford to fall too far behind to the Dragon Knight and the Juggernaut push. Gyrocopter, he's probably going to be aggressively tri-laned against, won't really be able to afford to go, a super late game build. We won't see an early dominator or anything like that. It'll probably just be phase boots as early as he can get them to try and harass the Vici Gaming supports back. Maybe a drum, maybe not even a drum, just working straight towards a BKB. But again, this is, well, before I go any further, let's talk about this bubble being inaccurate. Vici are currently leading 1-0 in this best out of 3 for the semifinals of the AMD Dota 2 Premier League. I'm Baseskip, and it's a pleasure to be here casting for you guys this evening. So over on the side of Vici Gaming, we are going to have Tutu playing the Weaver again, playing fantastically in the last game. FY is again going to be the 3 position, playing the Juggernaut. Looks like he's going to be the tri-lane farmer. Fenrir is going to be on the Shadow Demon. We've got ZSMJ on the Lina, and that is going to leave AZ, otherwise known as CTY, to play the Dragon Knight. Over on the side of Zenith, we've got XY playing the Darkseer, we've got Ice on the Gyrocopter, we've got Ice playing the Wisp, we've got Yamate or NWP on the Puck, and that is going to leave Freedom or X-Freedom to play the Tuskar here. And yeah, as the admins have said, it is the problem. There is a problem as far as the bubbles are concerned. For the people who were raising concerns about the bitrate of the stream and the quality, I typed a message in chat, but I guess not everybody would have seen it. I live in Australia. I'm streaming out of my house. I am pushing my ADSL 2 Plus NXM connection to its absolute limit to push out 720p, and as far as Australia is concerned, that's basically witchcraft. But unfortunately, the bitrate isn't super high. I'm still looking to tweak more things. A more powerful PC would mean that I could actually lower, I guess, the encoding level, depending on how you want to think about going from the super fast preset to medium and whatnot, which would help a little bit. But for the most part, it's just a bitrate problem. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to upgrade my connection, but it's not much of an option here. So I guess I'll encourage you guys to maybe consider picking up the ticket if it's super bothersome. I know that's not a great response. I'm going to do my best if I'm going to keep going with the casting, and it's going to be as popular as it is tonight, to make sure that I can get either 1080p 30 FPS or 720p 60 FPS and see what I can do as far as my connection is concerned. But living in Australia, it's a little bit more difficult. But let's stop talking about that, because we've got a big game ahead of us, and Vici, again, hoping to topple the giants that are Zenith here. They're going to run their aggressive tri-lane down towards bot. The Wisp, the first pickup for Zenith, weak-ish in the tri-lane versus tri-lane. I feel like Zenith would prefer to have something else in this spot, and Tuskar being a melee support as well will be difficult. And now they're already going to be jumping on top of the Wisp. Can they land the stun? He's going to try and tether away. The spin is ready. Rocket Barrage over the top, but Ice will end up dropping. Now the Ice Shard's in. Ice going to keep them blocked in. He's got another Rocket Barrage in just a second. Stun going to clip right on the edge. Ice just about to go down, and X-Freedom is another disruption. No, FY is just going to have a bit of a taunt after picking up 2 kills to start, hardly expending any regen, and still looking okay as far as mana is concerned. So great start for Vici, exactly what they're looking for. Meanwhile, the top lane matchup is going to end up being Darkseer against Weaver. Actually, a pretty good matchup for the Weaver. Looks like Tutu either going to be picking up a fast Basti to just leave it on and keep the creep wave pressured out against the Darkseer as best he can, or that could also be Tranquil Boots, or it could be both, swapping between the two as needed. So very protection to start. Meanwhile, CTY has again been pulled up for the mid lane, and I mean, ZSMJ, I was a little bit curious as to how his tri-lane support would go again, but seems like it's doing fine so far, and the coordination with Fenrir has been going pretty well. And we do have Zenith trying to deward their pull. They're not going to be able to spot this Observer Ward, so that's 1 sentry invested. Oh, and this is very sneaky from Vici, and this is going to take a second to explain, so I want to make sure that nothing too interesting is going to happen. So what they've done is they've used this ward to get Rune Vision, which is blocking out this camp. And because Zenith see that this camp and this camp are blocked out, the natural assumption is that it's on Magic Bush. So that's why they actually placed this sentry first, because they scoped things out and they said, okay, it must be on Magic Bush because they blocked both camps. But instead what's going to end up happening is Zenith are going to throw both of their sentry wards down, and looks like they won't end up spotting the obs at all. So it's a subtle play from Vici, but this ward still gives vision over the rune and keeps the camp blocked, and that means that the camp is going to stay blocked, and Zenith won't be able to get any of the early levels that they so desperately want on both the Tuskar and the Wisp. And now they're just going to disrupt up, foot and nose, and it's going to make some space for Ice. It looks like he will end up being fine. Now on top lane we've got XY cutting creeps, Tutu just pulling things around, doing his best. Already has some boots up, so looks like it is going to end up being just Tranquils for him. CTY on mid, doing okay in terms of CS. The matchup against Puck is nicer for the Dragon Knight than it is against the Queen of Pain. Puck's harassment isn't really on the same level, so Dragon Knight is just going to keep on spamming. Does actually have a pretty early magic stick picked up along with his bottle, so looks like he should be fine. and there's going to be a haste camped out there by X-Freedom, but there's full vision of this from Vici, so looks like everything's going to be fine. They've got a lane ward down, just keeping an eye on Vici Gaming, but I mean, they've got a Darkseer, they've got a Puck, so both of their other lanes are doing quite well, but if this tri-lane ends up going terribly, then the tri-lane ends up going terribly, and that's really going to hurt their long-term prospects, especially with heroes like Tusk and Wisp, who are both, I mean, okay, Tusk is literally a snowball hero, but they've got a disruption onto the Wisp, stun going out, Ice in some trouble, they're trying to intercept the tether, but it's a long-range one, but still right-clicks. Not even Shadow Poison there from Vici Gaming, just right-clicks flying through will be enough to finish that one up, so things looking pretty good for them. And back to that thought about Tusk being a snowball hero and the bad puns. He needs to be a little bit ahead of his opponents in terms of levels, and at least a little bit, a tiny bit, or at least at the very least even in terms of levels and in terms of farm, because if he isn't, then he's just going to snowball in and get Lagoona'd or get Omni Slashed and just die. He needs to have, you know, he needs a couple of core items, he maybe needs an urn. I think it's going to be X-Freedom again farming Arcane Boots, and it'll probably be Ice working his way towards the urn, but it's a ganking combo from Zenith, and if they get shut down early, then that gives Vici a lot of space to move in the mid game, and mid game is where they're going to be pushing down towers, they're going to be farming up their tri-core lineup. I mean, Zenith do always have the Gyrocopter to fall back on, and there's always the Hail Mary play of a Divine Rapier, but hopefully, at least for their sake, it won't end up coming to that. But there will be some pressure on the Puck and the Darkseer to take the fact that they've got some good farm to start and sort of pay it forward to the bottom lane, because Ice is just not having a fun time in terms of farm. Second 8 for 1, if the supports aren't right on top of him, then he's just going to get jumped and he's just going to die. 4-minute Urn's going to end up being camped out. XY making a long trek back to base, so costly move from him. Tutu's going to just establish dominance on top lane. He's got Tranquils, he's still got Tangos left, and yeah, he's going to be toggling between both his his Bassi and his Tranquil Boot, so when he doesn't need to heal, he's going to leave the Bassi on, get 6 damage out of nowhere, and that'll also help keep the wave pushed out from the Darkseer so that he can get a little bit of free harassment, or just prevent his tower from taking too much damage. Or that's just going to be the beginnings of a medallion. It could be either one. Ice, they don't quite get the stun, but he will get blocked out by his own Ice Charge there. Now the Rocket Barrage moving through. He's trying to escape off to the side. He's going to buy a TP scroll, I think accepting his fate. And down he will go. So not even perfect coordination there from Vici, but still picking up another kill. Is Tutu alternating? No, looks like he's just sitting on Tranquil Boots for now. The nice thing about swapping as well is that you get the Bastion regen aura, which helps to actually give you a little bit of mana to keep using your Tranquil Boots, but anyway, FY is going to get stuck in here with the Ice Shards, but he's already got Phase Boots, and we'll just run straight on back. As he sunk a point into stats, he has. The reason that he's done this is because once he reaches level 6 or 7, with 1 point in stats, he will barely have enough to be able to cast both Omni Slash and Spin. If you don't have a point in stats, if you're at full mana, if you don't have enough branches or anything, then you won't be able to actually use both, which is extremely important for Jug. Meanwhile, Vici Gaming supports, going to smoke up. XY is still just trying to intercept the wave on top. But Vici moving over towards mid. Puck, definitely a difficult mid to gank, and this is going to come down to ZSMJ. Whether or not he can get the perfect timing, well, they're just going to be able to spot out. They will be able to spot out Tusk here. He rolls over the top of the stun, so X-Freedom doing okay. Now Yamate walking across. He's got the Dream Coil ready. Going to drop it down on 2. He's got the Orb. He's got the Silence. This is looking like a double. Can they kill off X-Freedom? Nicely done from ZSMJ. He gets the stun. Will be able to get at least 1 out, and that buys time for CTY to make his way across. Dragon Form on cooldown. Will throw out the Breathe Fire, but Yamate is still on the run, and looks like he will end up being fine. Meanwhile, on bot, FY is going to get jumped while the supports are away, but he's got a healing word ready as soon as he pops those stick charges, so looks like he will be fine. And Zenith. FY, what are you doing?
Not possible.
That was interesting. I mean, FY maybe just not appreciating how low he was on life and just walks straight in and gets right click down. There is a Radiant Ward here as well, so there was a little bit more vision than perhaps FY expected, and yeah, they just finish him off there. Meanwhile, Tutu is just still sitting on this Sage's Mask. Oh, so the one thing that I didn't bring up, and this is, I guess, a correction that I have to bring up, if you have more than 32 int, so 32 int total between your base int and your additional stats, well, X-Freedom's gonna get stun mid, so we'll hold that thought. Is there still a Breathe Fire? Not quite. Stun not gonna connect. X-Freedom's still alive. Breathe Fire now up, and CTY gonna get that kill. So a correction to be made about the Bassi Well, now it's actually going to be an urn for Tutu, so it looks like that's locked in. XY in some trouble. I'm not going to be able to get this point out. I think XY might just die here as SMJ lining up for the stun. There's the disruption. Patience from him will connect it, and another kill going the way of Vici. Now leading 7-2, 1.5k gold. The lead, only about 750 experience, while the supports are away. Ice has been able to snag at least a little bit of CS. But finally going back to that point. Okay, so a Bassi versus a Sage's Mask. I believe the threshold is 32 int, where the Sage's Mask is more mana regen per second total than the Bassi. So I think Weaver is just behind that, but Tutu's just sort of... What's Tutu actually up to right now? There's the Bassi. Okay, so we're still gonna end up picking one up just for some push on the top lane. I don't think it's so much to deal with the Darkseer at this point, since they've still got supports sort of wandering around the map. But I finally got the point out. So being a little bit belligerent there, but yeah, I don't know. Random Dota knowledge. I'm probably off on the threshold. It could be 34 or something like that, or it could be much lower. Obviously, if you're here like Alchemist, you've got extra base mana regen with your ultimate and yada yada. Changes the whole situation, but. For now, Tutu's going to be able to deny himself a tier 1 tower on top. We've got Fenrir just farming up. He's got himself some boots, almost level 5, so level's going really, really well for the Vici Gaming supports, bringing up the overall hero level. They're only a little bit ahead of both Zenith and X-Freedom, who have taken full advantage of all the space they've been given. On the bottom lane, XY just going to end up fogging a disruption in. Looks like he will be fine.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, Zenith just doing exactly the right thing. If FY is the only one here, then he can't really do too much. And now he's got himself both Omni Slash and Spin, so we'll be now looking for a kill. He's got himself a Rober the Magi, so the consideration of picking up a point in stats isn't too relevant. Ice gonna walk out. I don't know if he's close enough to the creeps here, but looks like FY doesn't know if there's any backup nearby, so just gonna end up backing out there. Meanwhile, CTY on mid keeps on farming. As far as he's concerned, he is the lead farmer on the map, and he's already put quite a bit of damage onto this tier 1. Zenith roaming up. They've got a haste on Yamate. Fenrir is pretty much completely out of mana, both of them surging forward. They're actually heading towards mid lane. So SMJ might be in some trouble. CTY is still on the tower. Will he be able to bring it down? It's going a little bit slowly. That SMJ is just about to get jumped. They get the coil, they get the silence, but they've left CTY relatively untouched. He's going to jump and he gets a stun onto XY underneath the tower. Nice follow-up from ZSMJ right before he drops, but in comes the call down. The roll of the top. CTY is tanky, but is tanky enough? Defensive disruption buys a few seconds. FY now joining the fight, spinning out. He's got the rank 1 Omni Slash, the purge onto Ice. Saved by the surge there. And now Yamate just trying to orb away. Will Ice be brought down by this urn charge? Not quite. Stick charges. Looks like they will just barely be enough, living on 9 HP. Meanwhile, FY, big dive in, but he's got the Omni Slash last bounce onto a creep, gets vacuumed back. A couple more tower shots will bring him down. Tutu on the back lines, gets some more urn charges. Out of that kill, now looking towards XY. He's got another Shikuchi. The surge will be used, but looks like that's going to be it. And the tier 1 tower, the prize for Vici Gaming, will finally be claimed. At the end of the day, what were the trades? Looks like CTY managing to survive there. They lose FY, they lose at SMJ, they bring down... So they bring down Tusk, and is that about it? Looks like it was. So just the 3 kills and a tower. A little bit of action on mid lane. Tutu 1.1k gold in the bank, so if he wants some treads, he can snag those right now in terms of overall farm. As you would expect with the 4 kill lead, it's in favor of Vici Gaming. 750 experience and 2k gold for the time being. Ice just has himself some quick phase boost on top. Looks like he is going to be going for that drum. So just sending out the bracer right now, not rushing straight towards the BKB. Is this team stacking up at all? Not really. They've just been pulling to try and get levels on the supports as quickly as they can, and it's worked out pretty well. X-Freedom is now level 6, has his Walrus Pouch ready to go. And yeah, they've managed to tie things up a little bit as far as levels are concerned. And level 6 for ZSMJ is going to be a big pickup, so we'll see if he can grab it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Zenith running down, smoked up. Looks like Fenrir will be the first one spotted. The courier might also be in some trouble. They get the ice charge. The courier keeps on running forward. Fenrir manages to get the disruption off. The healing ward is still here. They drop down the coil. The call down. They get the vacuum back. They bring down both supports. Tutu time-lapsing back. Still alive. Dream Coil duration wearing out. Meanwhile, Vici chasing in onto the wisp. They're going to bring him down. FY No spin TP just yet. We've got Tutu in the fight. XY going to be brought down by the Urn Charge. And Tutu will keep on going. Gets brought back into the Ice Shards. Gets hit by the Snowball. But now CTY has managed to jump into the fight. And they're going to bring down Ice. Yamate just looking a little bit helpless on the side. And Vici, they got wombo comboed. But things end up going their way once the Dragon Knight rocks up to the fight. And they've already brought down the tier 1. So DK plus Illusions straight onto the tier 2. Yamate's almost got his Blink Dagger, doing pretty well for himself. 2 for 0 for 3, so is having a pretty big impact. And again, it was up to the Darkseer and it was up to the Puck to pay forward the farm that they got in their lanes. But unfortunately for Darkseer, he doesn't quite have his mech, which is really what he needs. Oh, he does now have it finished. So, pretty key timing for them. Vici will be able to bring down the tower, but looks like FY in some trouble. Spin on cooldown, now the roll over the top. Will he die? He's got 15 wand charges. And just barely able to make it out there. He can spin back into the missile. Tutu chasing as well. A little bit indecisive here. They're going to get the punch up onto CTY. The tether stun as well. He's going to try and make his way out. Ice Shards, defensive disruption, the call down. Now Tutu trying to escape. FY going to spin in. Mech's going to pop off, but the Laguna Blade onto Ice. They bring down the Darkseer. They bring down the Gyrocopter. They get a nice stun onto Ice. Now he's in trouble. Omni slash Hughes to secure that one. And Zenith losing 4. Meanwhile, Puck. Yamate just trying to get out of here. He can switch his treads to int. Well, he actually has enough mana for a TP right now. And will he be able to get out? Are there any stuns? He got a Dream Call, but Fenrir is right here with the disruption. I think he's trying to wait it out, but Tutu's just going to keep on chipping away at him. And Yamate looking a little bit defeated. That's going to be the end of his. Well, it's going to be the end of his deathless streak. And Vici Gaming, huge team fight from them. And everybody's still looking very healthy. I think the healing... I'm not sure if the healing ward actually dropped down. Well, actually was placed in that fight, but... Yeah. Zenith, after the burst damage, which was survived by Vici, everything turned out okay. They are going to get the Walrus Punch, and looks like FY will go down here. They do have a they do have a magic immunity interrupt there, so FY... Maybe not thinking about it, maybe thinking that he could TP in time. Will be dropped, but 10k is the lead for Vici. Huge spike down as far as gold is concerned. Huge spike down as far as experience is concerned as well. Meanwhile, Ice almost has himself that urn finished, and Tutu just being aggressive. He's working towards a BKB. Do they have any anti-invis? No. They're just going to silence to try and find him there, but Tutu's already on the retreat. Ice how's the farm going? He's got his drum now finished, so still managing to drum up a little bit of farm here and there. Meanwhile, the SMJ, he's got himself some arcanes and a haste, heading up towards top lane. And Tutu, well, just the BKB progress for him. BKB finished, meanwhile, for CTY, and sort of keeping the pace with Puck as far as the kills are concerned. So he's much beefier. He's got a really low cooldown stun, and I said it in the draft, and I guess we'll just say it again. Dragon Knight, gonna Dragon Knight, and the matchup agast Puck is much easier for him than it is against the Queen of Pain. FY running down bot, only level 9, but shouldn't be for too much longer. Nice little creep wave here for him. Surge will be used. Vici sending heroes top, and Zenith just in a full retreat. Breathe Fire. Not going to singe anyone there.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Vici, tower to tower to tower to kill to tower. And looking great right now in this game. Zenith,
top tower has fallen.
I mean, they got good farm, they've got the early mech, but just the wombo combo hasn't quite been enough to wipe out the Vici side, and they keep on ticking. They've got great chase, very difficult to escape from. So once Zenith commit to a fight, that's pretty much it. They can't choose to disengage against Vici because they've got Disruption, they've got Demonic Purge, they've got a Dragon Knight who's speeding around. I mean, they do have a Surge, and they've got the... Well, do they have any points in Frozen Sigil yet? No. So they have maybe a hope of escaping, but especially difficult against the Weaver. Now FY walking around from the side, unfortunately not quite level 11 just yet. We'll get the silence out of Yamate there. Dragon form wearing off soon, so Vici, you have to stay conscious of that one. CTY probably going to go straight in here with the BKB, gets brought in by the Ice Shards. Looks like he just wants to escape. A little bit more harassment onto Tutu as well. They get the homing missile stun. Zenith considering making a go of this here. Dragon form's just about to wear off, and that might be the cue for them. They're going to drop the healing ward, and another taunt from FY, just having a great time. And unfortunately for Ice, he's still only got the rank 1 call down, which might be a pretty big factor here. They're going to throw out some more spam, but it looks like Vici are just going to break it up. And there's a Blink Dagger, well, now up for Yamate. So nice acquisition for him, and will help out a lot in getting that big AoE combo going on. Darkseer, I wouldn't be too surprised to see XY to now start working his way towards a BKB just so that he can run into the fight and not be too worried about being stunned, because he is carrying a lot of his team's hopes and dreams on his shoulders right now. Meanwhile, Ice, 500 gold. He was just fighting with his team on top lane, keeping the pressure off, so wasn't really able to be split farming in the meantime, and this is going to leave them behind in terms of overall net worth, as you would expect, but they have managed to stabilize experience down at the 5k mark. And Zenith now smoking up. Vici, I've criticized them for being too aggressive in terms of farming before, but they're actually just baiting the Dragon Knight right now. But it looks like Zenith may be unconcerned about that. Are they just going to go for the Roshan pit? Tier 2 towers quickly going to be under siege, and now Zenith have to run back and defend. But they are going to be able to get in from the back side of this fight, and that might be enough. Fenrir's going to walk straight into the side. He will be able to defensively disrupt himself. BKB popping off, and FY spinning into the middle of everything as well. They're going to bring down the two supports. 2-2 will be brought down as well. Buyback from the Weaver will be able to time-lapse back into the fight. I'm not sure where he is. 2-2 has managed to rejoin, and that's going to be a team wipe almost in favor of Vici Gaming. Too much looking at the minimap there. As Vici get a beautiful turnaround. Did they use even more buybacks? They did. The two heroes that got wombo combo down ended up just making their way straight back in, and BKBs and spin will keep Vici chugging along, and FY getting the rank 2 Omni Slash over everybody as well. So not the best play-by-play there, guys. I was super interested to see if FY actually tried the time lapse earlier. Vici get the tier 2 tower down, and things just going from strength to strength from them, and yeah, looks like, well, they're just gonna back off. Tier 2 tower is still up top. There's still a Roshan available, so there's no reason to do anything too rash when they are at such a substantial lead. FY almost has himself a Shadow Blade. Fenrir is just looking to do some aggressive warding with this smoke, but we'll have to quickly escape as Zenith all make their way out to the lane. But Vici, this is where they split up, and this is where they farm, and this is maybe where Zenith can try and catch them. However, there are about 1 million Vici Gaming wards in every spot that they might be looking to smoke. So Zenith, if they're going to smoke, they have to drop a sentry. So everybody clusters on top of it to make sure that there's no vision of them, and then just maybe try and get something going on. Again, they find themselves with only 1 tower taken at this point in the game, so they will just be able to muscle down some tier 1s on both mid and bot. Vici, we'll see if they put up too much of a defense here. Again, they're not super cooldown dependent, so now they're making their way in, and everybody trying to retreat, but there's double damage Dragon Knight closing the gap. X Freedom on the run. Will he be able to escape? Dragon Knight slowly but surely getting in closer. Will he be able to get it? They shift their focus across the Wisp. Ice lagging behind a little bit at the back of the fight, but he will be able to tether, and Dragon Knight now popping the BKB. Vici, big chase from them, but no reward whatsoever. So Zenith, they don't get the tower, but Vici expend a BKB charge, so I think maybe moot as far as the overall fight is concerned. We've got a Shadow Blade also up for Dragon Knight, and I think Shadow Blade flying out for Juggernaut in just a second. So big damage online for Vici. Shadow Blade being a crazy damage efficient item. Into the pit they go. They've got the healing ward. Zenith realizing that the game doesn't get any easier if they give away Roshan or a set of Rex. They're just going to be trying to fight this one, but looks like something might have been spotted on that observer ward. Vici suspecting perhaps what's going on. ZSMJ is going to be leaving the pit. The healing ward is down. Roshan dropping low, but they're going to drop the call down onto everybody, and now Yamate jumps in, gets the silence, no spin. CTY trying to escape. They bring down 2. 2-2 also brought down, and FY now spinning, but Yamate got the Aegis. They got the last hit on Roshan as well. Everything going Zenith's way. FY going to try and TP out. Looks like he's been sneaky enough there with the jukes, but meanwhile ZSMJ force-staffed himself away on mid. Yamate wants the tower, will be able to snag it. GTY walking in, he's got the Dragon Tail, but too much of Zenith's lineup, and Vici Gaming, they were seconds away from finishing Roshan, but in the wombo combo cometh, and perfect silence from Yamate on everybody prevents a reaction from the Weaver, prevents the reaction from the Juggernaut. So big turnaround from them. It'll probably be reflected in the graphs in a second. I mean, Vici are more than likely still ahead. 10k the gold lead, 5k the experience, but Zenith showing that there is still some fight in them, and late game's going to be looking better. Ice starting progress on that BKB, just 1600 gold away. FY trying to be sneaky, makes his way down towards the bot with the Shadow Blade. Does have Omni Slash up, so if anybody comes out to farm this juicy creep wave, then he might be able to pick up a kill. But looks like nobody on Zenith is falling for his trap, so he's just gonna have to go back and get some farm. But Vici, what went wrong there? They didn't get to use any of their abilities, and heading into the Roshan pit when Zenith have the massive wombo combo, yeah, doesn't. I mean, if Vici had just had a couple of seconds more there and been able to bring down Roshan and get the Aegis on somebody, the fight maybe goes a completely different way. But Zenith also getting the last hit on Roshan and getting the Aegis, everything coming up trumps. And what have they been able to do right now? Has that gold been enough to maybe buy a gem, get some more control over their side of the map, start farming up, start closing the gold lead? I mean, all things that Zenith could be looking towards right now. XY not going to be heading towards a BKB, just a Ghost Scepter for him to help avoid the Omni Slash damage. Yeah, I mean, there are 2 stuns that he has to contend with, but I guess for the most part he just needs to be careful that he doesn't die, and I guess the BKB doesn't really help him against the Omni. But Zenith, things looking okay. I mean, still not great, but things looking okay. And Vici on the back foot for a little bit, and Zenith just trying to re-establish some control. CTY running in, ice. Maybe a little bit too far. He's going to drop the call down. He can do as much damage as he can as his teammates try and make their way in. But he gets Laguna bladed down. BKB now acquired for 2-2. Will he be punched? No. BKB gets delivered, and X Freedom now in a little bit of trouble as FY runs in straight into a silence. They've got some vision. They're going to gem up on Yamate, but he's just going to have to leave his friend behind. And Vici looking for more pickoffs. Yamate still on the run. Still has the Aegis. DK wants this, but looks like Yamate will be fine. Vici find themselves right in front of a tier 2 tower. And Ice getting caught out there. Not the best. For Zenith, do they have relevant buybacks? No, they do not. I mean, Vici, well, we'll see if they're feeling cautious. I mean, they could farm up some items, they could go back and defend and prevent this tier 1 tower falling on bot, but they've got a couple of seconds of no gyrocopter. And the silence in from Yamate, nicely done. Pulls the creep wave across as well. For this MJ just tanking up, they're putting damage on the tier 3, but now Zenith have all made their way back. And can they catch anybody? He's got the blink, he's got the coil, he's got the Aegis, he can be as aggressive as he wants. Yamate looking for it. And Vici have actually split up right now. Fenrir is just TPing in the trees, and Vici's still on the run. FY also Shadow Bladed, but he's going to be revealed in just a second. He will be able to spin, however, through. Okay, so FY is caught. Now Yamate closing the gap. That looks like it'll end up being it. Vici considering maybe the re-engage. CTY still has the BKB, but no Dragon Form. Gets hit by the Tether Stun, and that is it. So Zenith, a long chase, but they will be able to get one pick off, and can they turn it into more? 2-2 gets knocked up into the air. He's going to pop the BKB, but right clicks might just be enough. He time lapses back for safety. Will now try and TP out. Looks like it will be enough. Nice call from him, especially with 5 Zenith heroes wailing on you. But that's a BKB charge used, and Vici Gaming successfully repelled. Just splitting up quite a bit on that retreat. And yeah, things get a little bit dicey from there. So Zenith, the last couple of minutes, aside from the ice pickoff, have been okay on the whole. Meanwhile, FY gonna head down bot. Wouldn't even mind seeing a BKB on him. I mean, he does have spin for Magic Community. Maybe a Manta Style would be a good option as well if they just want to start going for the slow sieges. But he is still a little bit squishy. Really relying on just getting into the fight, dropping the Omni Slash, and surviving that way. As far as that's concerned, he could still pick up could still work towards an Aghanim Scepter, and that would be fine. It actually does give you some nice survivability, some nice stats. XY, is he gonna get Omni tier? FY wants the auto attack, but looks like XY is gonna be fine. It's actually a max rank surge, so XY only investing 1 point in the wall. Looks like he's primarily using it for the damage, as opposed to having illusions of the enemy team to be able to do too much. More points in the wall will become more relevant once Dragon Knight is level 16. There's an argument to be made for more points, but the Surge has been doing well, and maybe they wouldn't have caught anybody over here if they didn't have the maxed out Surge. Though I feel like for the most part it was the homing missile and then CTY kind of making sure that FY was okay, and then ended up dropping. For anybody who didn't realize, the wall that the damage that you take from the wall is flat at all levels. It's 150. It is blocked by BKB. The illusions being spawned is not blocked by Magic Immunity. So that's XY's priority. And often the wall illusions won't be super relevant in terms of damage, at least until there are more stats and more auras on Vici. So especially once there's, say, an AC on the Dragon Knight, anything that can be transferred to illusions like a Deso on the Weaver, that's where it becomes a big deal. But for the time being, I think Surge is definitely the better pickup. Meanwhile, Yamate is just dewarding with his gem. Has been doing so much work for his team here. He's almost got a Hex. Meanwhile, XY is also working towards a Hex. He's got an Ultimate Orb. So multiple Hexes. We've got a BKB for Ice Ice Ice. And Vici Gaming need to just be careful about getting caught out again. I mean, the last couple of fights haven't really been fair indications of their team fight power, but they do have to be worried because Zenith have acquired items in the meanwhile, and they need to get these BKBs off desperately and without dying. As far as gold is concerned, we are slowly drifting back up in the Radiant's direction, and with 8k the lead and experience has settled around the 5k mark.
Double damage.
With XY split pressuring top, they're going to pull Vici back onto their side of the map, and Zenith will emerge from their hidey hole to go into the jungle and try and get some farm now that they know where Vici Gaming are. So Zenith playing this very safe. Again, they are, and the bubbles at the top are inaccurate. They are one loss away from heading down to the 3rd, 4th place decider for this event, and if they lose it, then there's a chance that they just don't receive any prize money. I think 4th place doesn't receive anything from the overall prize pool, so maybe at least that thought spurring them on. And I guess thinking of the fans as well, I believe that Zenith are the favorites for this match, and Vici Gaming on the road to a little bit of an upset right now. So Zenith, let's see how this ends up working out. They've got more Ghost Scepters being picked up. X-Freedom just trying to tank up a little bit. He's got 900 gold to his name. Meanwhile, Yamate going to keep the pressure on bot, getting very close to that Hex. And Vici Gaming, they're not looking quite so confident anymore. They're just off farming, they're off trying to finish up some core items. All the while, Zenith are also farming and keeping things stable as far as the game is concerned. So this farming position isn't necessarily favoring Vici, and we saw how the last fight went at the Roshan pit. So if they're waiting for that, it may not be what they want. They might be hoping to wait for Roshan, get about a minute out, smoke up, get a pick off, either force out buybacks or get Roshan for free, because right now Zenith, they're on the front foot, they're going for a push on bottom lane and trying to say, Vici, we feel confident, come and fight us, we've got a 10-second BKB on our gyrocopter, what have you got? And let's see if Vici will end up responding or just giving away the tier 2 tower. This is one of the most difficult towers to defend in the game for the Dire, because they're up against the Darkseer, they're up against the Puck, they're up against the gyrocopter, and they're up against this massive choke point as well, where Zenith can be spread out all the way around here. And this is something that I talk about pretty frequently with this tower. It looks like it will be 2-2 on top lane, with his Crystallis actually forcing back the Zenith side. So split push prevails at the end of the day, and we won't get our fight. Yamate just gonna keep on bouncing very, very close to his Hex. XY still a ways away from him. And FY looks like he's working his way towards Manta style. We've got Dragon Knight. Interestingly enough, C2Y is going to be foregoing an AC, and we'll just be working towards Mjolnir here, which frankly surprises me a little bit. Personally, I felt like the AC change was directed in a big way at Gyrocopter, the AC change where its armor aura now stacks with everything. It's a completely separate aura. And as far as that's concerned, does somebody have a ring? No. So Vici Gaming sitting without their plus armor aura, which is definitely helpful, especially for the supports against the flak cannons. So I feel like I would have preferred to have seen the AC for the Dragon Knight. I mean, the Maelstrom is nice, gives them extra right click, but given that they don't have a Deso on the Weaver, the AC would have been great for helping to go for base sieges, and helps a lot in terms of survivability, because BKB is sort of handling the rest. So Vici looks like they have waited out until Roshan respawns, but Zenith making their way across the contest, and CTY walks up, but does he know about the Hex on Yamate? What is he doing here? He's going to pop off the BKB. He turns around. It looks like Zenith were a little bit suspicious of the fact that the Dragon Knight was so far out, but CTY, I feel like he almost realizes where he is and just mashes every button that he has. Zenith, that's going to be enough to drive them back, but they didn't pop any cooldowns for that, so this fight in the pit could get scary again for Vici. This time around, they're playing it a little bit more split up, but the 3 core heroes are still walking in. Fenrir looking to scout. They've got good vision, they've got an observer, they've got a central ward backing it up as well, but Zenith now smoked up, now making their way down, and Ice 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 to the 10-second BKB is going to drop the call down on the pit. BKB now used, Vici on the run out, vacuum back into the ice shards. No escape for Vici, they have to stand and fight. XY in some trouble, will be able to pop up his Ghost Scepter. The wall, keeping everybody locked in, the illusions keep spawning. X-Freedom will be brought down by one more right click on the Dream Coil drop on CTY, gonna keep on fighting. Everyone is low. FY at the back of the fight brings down Ice. They bring down 3, and Vici Gaming, nice moves. They kill off, well, 2 core heroes and the Tuskar, and looks like the prize will be theirs. Roshan already on a 3rd HP. So yeah, Vici, nice fight for them. Aegis coming their way in just a second. More gold, more experience. And, I mean, Zenith boldly fought. They didn't quite get the full combo down. I mean, they kept 3 heroes pinned off to the side, but none of them died to the wall. And meanwhile, looks like Gyrocopter just got completely driven back by both Juggernaut and Weaver, both of which were very difficult to deal with in the fight. So yeah, Zenith go back to split pushing, go back to trying to buy themselves some time. They don't have any tier 2s left. Vici Gaming, the only question is what items will they finish before they go for the push with this 6 minutes of Aegis. The Aegis is up on 2-2. He's probably going to be able to finish his Daedalus before they push. I would think that Manta Style would also be available for FY before they go for it, and maybe the Mjolnir for CTY as well. So 3 big core items to pick up. Do they have anything smaller? Well, ZSMJ is actually extremely farmed on his Lina. He's got a Force Staff, he's got a Blink Dagger. Fenrir has just been buying the bulk of the wards. He wants a Force Staff, but does he have any more of it? He actually, well, he's close. And FY is taunting back at base as he heals up, because he is a cool guy. And looks like it's going to be, I mean, this could be an SNY from him. I think it might be a BKB. It's just a hunch. We'll have to see what FY is going for. Meanwhile, Yamate still got his gem, so just doing some dewarding over by the pit. Vici gonna keep on farming. We're just waiting for those items to be picked up by them, and Zenith trying to see if they can get anything going on. They first picked the Wisp. It hasn't really done that much for them. I mean, either maybe I haven't noticed it, but I feel like Ice hasn't really saved anybody. I'm just gonna fix my cursor here, guys. Ice hasn't really saved anybody. We haven't had big relocates in because for the most part, the game has been 5-man. And I think that Zenith would maybe even prefer to have a Jakiro in the spot. Just vacuum everybody into the ice path, call down on their heads, and just hope to wombo combo them down. Because they did transition over into the safer lineup. They had the Wisp. They still went for the Tusk as their support. But for the most part, yeah, we're just going for the Gyrocopter, Puck, Darkseer, wombo combo, late game assurance. As far as we are heading towards the late game, it's a 14k gold lead, 15k experience. 2-2's got his Daedalus finish, so that's one of the core items. What is FY working towards? Do we have that clarified at all? Looks like we don't. That could be the beginnings of an Aghanim Scepter as well. No, he's got the Mithril Hammer, so didn't notice that. It is going to end up being the BKB. And I hope that he didn't have the Mithril Hammer when I said it was a hunch, because then I look very stupid. But Vici, they're waiting around for the Mjolnir on the Dragon Knight. Looks like CTY almost has that. He's got the Hyperstone already, so they're finishing up 3 core items, and then they're going to look to make a go of it. Meanwhile, XY is just lurking on mid. He's getting pretty close to his Hex. Would love to finish that before the next fight. Yamate is on this cliff, and CTY is like, I know Yamate is on this cliff. Can we kill him? Can we kill him? Can we kill him? But looks like the answer is no. Yamate is just chilling. And we'll now blink down onto the low ground. Vici, this is a huge window of opportunity. There's nothing really left for them to farm. They've got the BKB finished. They've got the Mjolnir. There's no reason to delay any longer. FY, playing it safe. They can use the spin pretty liberally. Still got a 10-second BKB. And yeah, Vici, this is looking like it's going to be the push. If Zenith can repel them, then things are looking great for them, because the next time Vici come for the push or they come for a team fight, then they won't have the Aegis. But for the most part, things are looking good for Vici. Let's have a BKB check. 7-second BKB on the Dragon Knight. We've got a 7-second BKB on the Weaver and the 10-second BKB on the Juggernaut. I haven't brought up the overall item progression panel in a little while. Ice is just working towards... that didn't click him. He's working towards some damage. Looks like it's going to be the MKB for him. And meanwhile, X-Freedom still kind of sitting exactly where he was 5 or 10 minutes ago. Wand, Bracer, Boots. Looking a little bit minimalist right now. Yamate's got an Invis, he's got that Hex. Do we have the other Hex picked up just yet? XY is very close, but not quite. Tooth is going to be split pressuring top lane. Vici might end up actually waiting out their own Aegis here. They've only got a little bit left. They're going to jump on top of ZSMJ to try and find a pickup. He's going to force Staff back, and now Dragon Knight pops everything looking for the kill. We're just going to pop the Dragon Form, in fact. Can he get anybody here? The Spirits might be a bit of a giveaway for Ice that somebody is hounding him. And now CTY, well, he gets the stun, but Ghost Scepter immediately from Ice, and Yamate jumps in with the Hex. Well, Hex actually on cooldown. Will there be enough procs to kill off Ice? I think that Demonic Purge might just do it. No, they didn't actually get the Purge. But they also managed to bring down Yamate. Now Zenith, just the charge comes straight into their base. They're not in position to defend this. Will the stun connect into this MJ? He wants it. Are they just going to make their way out of the base? Blinking out, but two huge pickoffs. Is there a buyback on the puck? There is, so that will definitely be forced out here by Vici. How much longer do they have left on this dragon? On this dragon form, not a heck of a lot. The call down dropped, good damage. Vici on the retreat, no healing ward just yet. Looks they will have to wait for that, and that's going to give them enough. Well, that's going to give Zenith enough time to finish up their Hex and wait for X Freedom to respawn. So nice pickoffs there from Vici, but it doesn't end up amounting to too much. But tense moments from Zenith. And it looks like this is actually going to end up waiting out the... They've ended up waiting out their own Aegis, so 2-2 won't have this one for the fight unless they fight immediately, and that's probably not going to happen. And Ice is also holding on to a buyback right now. Bottom lane's pushed in, and Vici, things were looking good, but the dive actually ends up working against them, I would have to say. Losing the Aegis, having to pressure bottom. I mean, they got the buyback out of the puck, but Hex is now finished in the Darkseer, which he wouldn't have had necessarily if they'd just gone straight up the middle lane. So Zenith doing a good job of running them around in circles, and now Vici, they're like, we don't have the Aegis anymore. Do we still feel as confident as we did? Well, looks like the answer is no. They're going to back off. They're going to get some farm. So FY, next item on the checklist is probably that Manta style. Meanwhile, CTY. Again, I'd still love to see an AC up on someone. 2-2, down to a 7-second BKB. Shouldn't be too much of a detriment to him. May end up picking up a Manta style, just to try and deal with the silence a little bit more and split push a bit better, because this seems to be the way that Vici are transitioning. They're now actually very afraid of the full 5-on-5 and FY. This could get very troublesome. No, he will just run into the supports and back himself out. Can they do anything about him here? He won't be able to spin TP, but it looks like phase boots will be enough to get him back to safety. Meanwhile, Vici, they're going to smoke up 3. They've got the gem on Fenrir, freshly claimed from the Zenith side. Did Zenith buy a new gem? They have not. And nobody is carrying anti... No, they do have a new gem. This puck is going to snag that right this second. But Vici heading down. It's only Ice that they've spotted right now. They've got the catcher, or they've got the purge. And that looks like it's going to be curtains for the poor Wisp. Just having a kind of sad game. Good thing that he's the only one picked off. He'll be back relatively soon, and it looks like Vici just waiting, and oh... Ice. I thought it was just going to be an MKB, but he is all-inning this right now. He's got the Divine Rapier, he's got a 9-second BKB, and Zenith... I mean, they've still got tier 2s to fight through, but if this is the Hail Mary play, and I think I talked about it maybe 5 minutes into the game, and it has actually come to fruition. So let's get the hype going, because these next couple of fights are going to be extremely crucial, and CTY actually going to end up going for Crystallis. So no buyback for him, shopping up for that one. And they're going to push down mid, but the Dragon Form's just about to cool off, and 2 minutes until Roshan. We'll see if Vici Gaming are tempted. Can they get a pick off on XY? Probably not. He's got a Ghost Scepter. What am I talking about? Yeah, unless the supports are leading, then it's unlikely that it'll die there. Somebody with a stun needs to be leading in that case. And Vici Gaming, one last time, pushed back. Ice still hiding the rapier for now. But Vici, they don't have any hexes. I mean, they've got reasonable stun. This is maybe even the point where if Dragon Knight sees this, he picks up a Blink Dagger just so he can jump the Gyrocopter and hope to just chain stun him down before he can get any of the flak cannon shots off. Could also potentially pick up a Heaven's Halberd, but that's not going to help him stop the BKB happening. And there will be at least 1 or 2 fights where Gyrocopter will very likely get a full barrage of Divine Rapier flak shots off. It looks like he might have revealed this now, and Vici just waiting around for Roshan again, but these Roshan... Well, the first Roshan fight went badly, the second Roshan fight went much better. But we'll see if this Divine Rapier is going to be the deciding factor. Now FY is going to get a Hex to relocate, now making its way in. Ice ready with the right click. FY, well, they're just rocket barraging for now. Defensive disruption, Vici Gaming buying some space, Force Staff back. FY alive, ZSMJ going to jump in, gets the stun down, Force Staffs himself out. Fenrir in some trouble, drops the Demonic Purge. Ice with the double, gets the triple, going to BKB through the Laguna Blade, and now Vici, they've lost a bunch of heroes, and this looks like it might just be an Aegis for Ice. Unfortunately, lane's not in a great spot for them. But just gonna head mid lane and I guess try and force it some buybacks. Lina's got one, Dragon Knight does have one himself, but yeah, Dragon Knight just starting to pick up the Daedalus. He's not gonna have buyback because he bought the recipe, so it looks like CTY is feeling very confident that he will be able to finish up the Daedalus before he maybe gets jumped. But Zenith, we'll see if they go Roshan, if they, we'll see if they look for a pick off. Roshan now gonna respawn, and Vici Gaming, no Juggernaut, no Lina, no Shadow Demon, and this is looking like it might be a bit of a turnaround. Zenith with the all-in, but can they do it? I mean, Vici Gaming need to kill him twice now. Before it was only once, but twice is starting to seem like a much more difficult prospect. Lanes aren't in a great position for Zenith. We'll see if they just... We'll see if they back off. They've got 6 minutes with this Aegis. Vici are all now back up. They could retreat. They could get their lanes pushed out a little bit. They could grab some lifesteal maybe on the Gyrocopter, or another item, survivability from a butterfly, something like that. Will likely be the... I would think it would just be the Dominator straight into the Satanic for him, given that he's already got so much damage from the Rapier, but could want the butterfly just to be able to survive the DK for a little bit longer. But if things go to his plan, then DK is going to be hexed long before he gets anywhere near Ice Ice Ice. So Vici now looking a little bit afraid. They're going to group up, but they don't have the Aegis, so no advantage there. They had the Aegis a little while ago. They ended up waiting out their own Aegis, and looks like from that point forward the game has kind of turned. Golden Experience are still in favor of Vici, but the Divine Rapier cares not for your gold and your experience. We do have the Daedalus now finished for CTY, but we've also got Darkseer shopping up for some Boots of Travel here. So XY, the Speedster moving around the fight. Yeah, Vici move into the Radiant jungle. They're just going to farm up, but looks like they're not feeling super confident about these fights. We do have ZSMJ either working his way towards a Yules, or working his way towards a Hex. Again, a Hex is going to be absolutely crucial, because otherwise they don't really have that many ways to stop the Gyrocopter just doing massive damage. I mean, not to go all Ridge Racer on you guys, but yeah.
Dire's middle tower
Vici Gaming.
is under attack.
They're smoking in from the back. Zenith working on the tier 2. There's a fortification, so they can keep them here for a couple more seconds. And Vici moving up under cover of smoke. FY's going to split off to the side. ZSMJ leading the charge on that front, but now Zenith waiting for them up the hill. They've got the gem. The courier moves around. 2-2 will be revealed. Ice 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 at the front. Zenith moving as a unit over towards the tower. Ice just a little bit further back. Both teams on the wrong side as Ice 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 going to pick up that tower. Did that give them any new buybacks? Looks like it didn't. The Frozen Sigil moves out. Both teams very tense moments. Who's going to get hexed first? Will it be FY? Will it be CTY? Will they be able to get off their BKBs? Big questions here. XY going to drop the first text. They're going to walk in. Are they going to all in this one? They're going to drop down the wall. BKBs now being used. They're going to jump back in with the Omni Size. Ice Ice Ice. Instant totally keeps on right-clicking. He's still got the Rapier, but the gem hits the deck. Now a buyback from the puck. Vici Gaming just want to bring him down as quickly as they can. He used the buyback on the first life. They bring him down. The Rapier's on the ground. 2-2 wants it. 2-2's going to get it. CTY with a triple kill. Vici Gaming. This is looking like it is all over. We've got a puck and we've got a wisp to try and defend, but 2-2's now got how much damage? 570 a hit. So Radiant's Courier is going to end up being killed. Couple of items going the way of the fans there, but Vici Gaming maybe just go for end here. The Gyrocopter isn't really a threat anymore. They're going to disrupt 2-2 despite fortification not being used, and the illusion's not benefiting that much from all of the obscene plus damage. Not benefiting at all from obscene plus damage. But looks like Vici, they're going to close this one out just by going for multiple Raxes. They head down towards bot. Zenith maybe with one last chance here to reclaim the Rapier and reclaim the game, but Vici playing it safe. Yamate is just pressuring out the top lane, hoping against hope that maybe he can re-enable backdoor protection for the top Rax. And then it's still waiting on Ice Ice Ice. He just ended up buying a Reaver there. And it's just going to be a Yules for the Lina. They're playing it pretty safe. Monkey King Bar for 2-2. And looks like they don't want to go in via mid. We've got the sounds thrown out from Yamate, but Zenith just trying to defend. And yeesh. Vici Gaming, what a team fight on mid, and this is looking like they might be advancing to the finals of this event, if I'm going to be speaking frankly. Fenrir needs to be careful not to get caught out. Zenith, one last opportunity. Need the Wombo combo to end all Wombo combos. We need to somehow lock down the multiple BKB threats that Vici Gaming have. FY has almost got himself an Aghanim Scepter. There is a buyback for CTY, and Shadow Demon will be now buying up a Vlad's because more aura, more items. Only one buyback. It's only for Lena. So I'm just going to switch it over to net worth. And let's see what Zenith can do. They want to try and take this fight from the side. Tutu's at the front. Needs to be careful. Double Hex could actually just be his life there. And losing the Rapier back to Ice Ice Ice, I don't think he would ever live that down. So Tutu just backing off safely. Vici Gaming still looking a little bit afraid. Don't want to get overconfident. They don't want this to go out to a third and final game. They want to end it here and now. Take the 2-0. And again, this bubble is inaccurate. It's actually 1-0 in favor of Vici right now.
Regeneration.
And Zenith's just backing off, forced to deal with their lanes. Vici playing it so safe. Looks like they're going to get more items, and they're going to get maybe another Roshan, and Zenith are like, come on guys, at least give us a chance. So they're going to smoke. Let's see what they can get. Ice 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 still has a cheese. Thrown across to him. Daedalus finished for CTY. And yeah, Tutu's got the MKB, 2k gold on top. Zenith, the smoke team moves out. 2 heroes going to be heading back to defend. And Aghanim Scepter now completed for the Juggernaut. Who have they caught? CTY going to get hexed up. They've still got the second hex. They relocate, making its way in as well as over the top. And now Zenith MJ in some trouble. Brought down CTY. Does he have the buyback anymore? Omni Slash hitting on everybody. Tutu now just stands his ground. Going to keep on right-clicking to call down. Not affecting him in the slightest. He's going to time-lapse back, keeping it safe. Double kill for him, make it a triple, keeps on going. XY, a couple of seconds because of the Ghost Scepter, but looks like not too much longer. And Zenith, one last attempt, but down they go. They've got Yamate just hiding at the back. He actually orbs, psychs out Fenrir, and will be able to TP back. So cute little play from him, but Zenith, that I think that might have been their last gasp. FY is just taunting in front of his ward right now because he wants to. And Zenith, they've got a buyback on Ice Ice Ice. They've maybe got one last shot. Vici Gaming, if not actually ended this one here, and Dragon Knight actually buying up the Daedalus. Didn't have enough to buy back, so it looks like Vici's still playing this as safe as they possibly can. Tutu sitting back at base will probably, I don't know what he buys. Maybe just buys a Heart or Satanic. Losing the Rapier would be disastrous at this point. I mean, maybe even dropping his BKB and buying a new one once he farms 3.9k could be worth it. Because buyback, well, I guess buyback is relevant. He can still time-lapse back in, but if he loses the Rapier back to Zenith, maybe they get it back to Ice Ice Ice, and maybe they can close out the game. But Vici, in they come. Yamate is over in the trees, just going to orb himself back. Playing games, but needs to be careful. And now we'll get Yule's up to the center, going to try and line up the stun, and Yamate is now stuck out. Laguna Blade will be phase shifted. Will he be able to blink? Yes, he will. So they get the Laguna Blade out there. But Vici Gaming right outside their base. CTY walking over. Ice Shroud's going to slow them down a little bit, and Zenith fighting until the bitter end here. If there's any chance that Vici will throw the game away, then they are going to hope against hope. I've got the Eagle Song as the pickup for Tutu. He's critting for 1.6 thousand damage at this point. So,
When you play with Lena,
yeah,
you tend
we've
to
got
burn.
Vici just having a bit of a taunt party outside the base. Zenith, meanwhile, probably not sweating bullets, but just hoping against hope to take this again. We'll take this out to a third and final game, and now Vici heading up to the high ground. Where's the initiation? BKB is used by Tutu. He heads onto the Ice Ice. Ice, he's blocked in by the creeps. He's going to be right-clicked down. No buyback. That just might be the end of it here. We are going to have the Omni Slash broken off by a Ghost Scepter, but they get the double. They bring down the Darks here. And onto the Rex. Double kill for CTY. Healing Word thrown down. Disruption as well. The Illusion's going to try and chop down Fenrir. Meanwhile, back at the fountain, Tutu is keeping everybody back here. They're going to drop the coil. Can they bring down Tutu? He gets punched up into the air. The Divine Rapier hits the deck, and Yamate wants it. Rapier's on the ground. Rapier's on the ground. ZSMJ maybe take the Rapier. CTY is going to take the Rapier. He's got two Daedaluses. Two Daedaluses and a Divine Rapier. I could have sworn that he had a second one, but yeah, looks like that's going to be it. GG called by Zenith and Vici Gaming. Well, they're champions of the best out of 3. They're going to be heading to the grand finals tomorrow to play against Orange, and yeah, 2-0ing Zenith. What an exciting game, though. We had the Rapier, and now I'm completely losing my train of thought. I'm feeling a little bit wiped. But guys, it was a fantastic game. This was the semifinals of the AMD Dota 2 Premier League. Grand finals coming up tomorrow. First of all, well, Before that, it's going to be the 3rd and 4th place decider. So that's going to be Zenith up against Rattlesnake, and then our grand final will be Vici Gaming up against Orange. I've been Baseskip. I've been here in association with Dota Talk. If you guys have enjoyed the cast, or if you have anything that you think I could improve on, then you can email me at baskipdota@gmail.com. I read all my emails. Again, I'm going to go respond to them right after this cast wraps up. If you guys want to support me at all, then my Twitter, my Twitch, my Facebook, and my YouTube are all under the name of Baseskip, so you can find me there to figure out what I'm doing and where I am. I'm often on different streams at different times, but yeah, that's the situation for me as far as Dota Talk is concerned. The organizers of this event, and you can find them on Facebook. You can find them obviously here on Twitch. You can give them a follow if you've been enjoying the coverage, and you can just check out their website for all the details and all the events and things like that that they are organizing and hosting. Aside from that, thank you everybody who tuned in. It was an absolute pleasure to be casting tonight. Definitely a big crowd, and yeah, one of the biggest that I've ever had. So hopefully I wasn't too nervy, and I'm not gonna make too many apologies. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. Again, let me know if you did. If you didn't, it's been great casting for you. We'll look at the schedule. We'll look at the bracket, just so you guys know when things are happening tomorrow. But that's gonna wrap it up for this cast. I'm Baseskip, signing off.